Yeah, you know, Lena can just go and annihilate an ENG, but he just can't close the gap. He has a wish for snaking to essentially make a mistake here, where he walks too close to the tree line, and then in combination with level 2 Thunder God's Wrath, they might be able to do it. It's just not quite available yet.
And maybe once you get to that Yule Scepter, that's something else that you could potentially find easier setups. But even then, you need a lot of help to take down that oddly tanky little deer lady. And a lot of bugs thrown out there, getting the last hit on several of these creeps. No Tail gonna have to take over a couple more of them as the time goes. So yeah, 18 minutes, and still nursing this lead is VGJ Storm. Do you start thinking about sort of finishing off that last Tier 1 tower, maybe making a move for some of the other Tier 2s?
Yeah, I think VG would really like to try and head down that mid lane a little bit. And they're just going to actually smoke up and start heading bottom. Anna's been doing a great job. I think all of OG have done a very good job of just like spreading apart VGJ Storm right now, because they're not growing their lead as much as you would expect on the side of VGJ right now. And if Anna escapes this, it's just going to be another good moment for them. They're trying to use that first Blink Dagger, and they'll catch the Wyvern, which is a poised match. I mean, possibly more. Jarex comes down the stairs.
Going in this and taking this fight. I mean, they find MSS. He's already got his Blink Dagger. He's going to die. Anna thinking that they can make a kill happen. And Resolution, they've got the bugs out. Going to spot Anna. They throw out another Light Strike array, but possibly in some trouble now. Thompson up on the high ground. They jump forward with Ywar. Finds the Real PL as well. Trying to deal the damage out onto him. He does get the Doppelganger away, though, for the moment. Now in retreat, but they're going to focus down Ywar and kill him off. A great fight for OG.
Yeah, they needed MSS for this fight to go well, and then OG spotting that the Earthshaker was going to go down. Even if it meant trading their Wyvern, the Echo Slam and the Fissures are going to be far more important in these engagements right now than the Winner's Curse. And you can see SVG, he's prepping for these by maxing out that Ice Path first, and it makes it very difficult for Anna to fight. But if that's the only sort of line that he needs to worry about with his Doppelganger, then he's still able to get around pretty easily with the damage. And Ywar, I mean, he kind of saved that fight a little bit by blinking in there and helping to get the kill on Melina, but then he ends up just getting his life away as well.
You can talk about it there. The Jakiro, you mentioned the maxed out Ice Path. One of the more, oh my God, snaking. You just need to be a little bit careful here with all the rest of them grouping up. MSS, he does have Blink with an Echo. OG, you got to be careful walking up that hill. And the threat of the Earthshaker, enough to keep him back.
Yeah, he also has the 4 points in the Aftershock, so it is pretty damaging, but he wants to save it for a big fight and have some more allies. A bit too risky to go in there by himself. I'd rather have Rezo there for the cleanup to ensure they're going to get a full 5-man wipe.
Absolutely. The Resolution, so much of their damage at this point in the game. Meanwhile, in the jungle, SVG kind of in no man's land. We'll see if they can get in with range with the troll net. Rezo just going to run away as well. It looks like OG kind of, they're bringing a couple up here, but I don't know if they realize that the rest of the VGJ Storm are in the area. The Echo just lands immediately onto Seb, and No Tail now with limited mana because he used the medallion is going to die. Rezo finds the kill.
Okay. Maybe not the massive fight that you want with the Echo, but if it's enough to secure this tier 2 in the mid lane, that's going to be just fine. Seb is very important for that one, so that one just kind of coming from some decent vision in the area as well, plus scouting out the fact that it was just the 2 supports. So commit hard for those, get the tier 2 mid. This is a decent trade for OG. It's not as important as a tower in the mid lane, but it's better than getting absolutely nothing and just sitting back and adding some gold to your team's totals, trying to push Thompson towards that Agnum Scepter.
It does feel like that's one of those items on the Zeus that can just so wholly change a team fight. Lay it down on the backside, find yourself snaking, and even though he's got that hood, it might end up just being able to burst through the Enchantress.
I think VGJ Storm they've got a PL problem. Because that last tower, they're able to take it because the Winter Wyvern's dead, and they take down the Chen. There's no full 5-man roster for OG, but I think if they can stick as 5 right now, they look very scary in a fight. It definitely still comes down to the Echo Slam, and it has to deal with the Winner's Curse, but if there isn't a good Echo Slam from MSS, it feels like Anna is just going to walk all over them here with his Diffusal Blade, Manta Style, and now building already into the Vit Booster. I mean, this guy gets hard. Even with a Weaver like this, it's going to be hard to kill because he has to go for this BKB, and he's probably going to feel pressure for like Mjolnir or something like that to try and handle all these illusions.
Yeah, it feels like a lot of this game resting on the shoulders of MSS and his initiation, which of course is going to be that much more difficult because you've got that Zeus in the game to find him at the outset of every fight.
Yeah, such a good hero for that. So he's the Ywar illusion. Not going to trick them as they are smoked up.
A little bit of a scouting ulti.
Yeah, they did use it up in the air though, so it did give away their position.
Oh, maybe trying to bait out some type of reaction there as he Well, no, now he spreads out the illusions, but you are in mid. Probably the hero that you would want to go on least out of everybody from VGJ Storm. He does run into the jungle, spots out a couple, and you are actually just going to pop the ulti there. Clearing through the creep wave. OG with the wraparound, though, trying to secure themselves that tier 1 tower, and they're doing just what you said, go together as 5.
Yeah.
PL even before the heart.
Seb doesn't have any sort of a mobility item, though, as he has definitely not been prioritized this game. They're giving way more to Jerax, giving him those side lanes to push out rather than the Winter Wyvern. So they're just determining that magic damage is going to be more important, trying to shut down resolution, which is definitely true. But VGJ Storm, they're now on the chase. They have a 10-second Weaver BKB in the backline. If he can catch up for this fight.
This is nice if they can make it happen. They're just throwing out those the shots through it, and No Tail never stood a chance, really, as they clean up his army as well.
This kind of feels like a good time to go Roche, just because the Thunder God's Wrath is down. You've taken one hero. Could be a consideration for VGJ Storm, but they're going to find a couple more here as UR starts chasing.
Seb up on the high ground. UR looking for one. Runs into Jerax. Light Strike Ray not able to get out there. And, well, there is still Seb off to the side, but he is just going to hide away now.
Oh. They get the wrong 50-50 there. Looking for someone else. As I said, Seb's still just sitting there. I suppose he's feeling relatively safe in the little hidey spot. There's a DD room bottled up here. They're going to find Snaking very far in enemy territory with this catapult.
And the Diffusal played out. Snaking, this is what ends up happening as you get into the later stages against the PL.
Yeah, like, who does ENG even... Like, what's her point now? You know? She does not have a really great hero to go on at all in these engagements. A lot of these heroes are going to have these Yule Scepters, so just buying themselves some more time. The Lina and the Zeus. Even Seb, like, he's just going to turn Winter's Curse you. Doesn't really feel like a great ENG game.
I mean, maybe that's the reason. Picked it first, and
yep.
Everybody's saying that it's uncounterable. Might have found some... UR goes forward, finds the stun. The Arctic Burn goes out, flying up in the air.
The rest of his team's mobility is not that high, though.
And it does kind of feel like right now VGJ Storm not necessarily lost, but also not really making that many concerted efforts around the map.
Yeah, it's been a bit passive. I mean, they're completely ignoring the bottom lane because it's just not near Roche. It's so worthless, you know. Look at this top lane. You got this jungle. I don't want to go down there. That real estate, no thank you. They actually go in the Roche pit. They smoke up, this would be the exterior hero. So using the shadow lane, a very sneaky play here from MSS. They'll just be hiding there. It doesn't look like there's any vision from the dire side, so they don't know this is going on. And there was DD rune taken at the bottom just before that last fight by Rezo. Had it bottled up, saving it, and going to have that perfect moment as they now secure Aegis for the 10-second.
Well, this could be a big defining moment of this game, a battle. Hard PL, really hard to deal with.
Yeah, if one of these Weaver illusions happens to cause something, that could be a problem. But they actually just smoke right past it, use the vision.
They spot out UR right at the get-go. He doesn't have any mana to pop his ulti either, so no damage over time. They pop the BKB. Rezo trying to deal with the rest of OG, though. Taking down Big Daddy No Tail. He's going to die. On the other side, UR's making Zojek. They find the Echo Slam as well, isolating and controlling Ana. But he is going to be able to get the DK out of there. And the Winter's Curse, just to try and keep him back, it does mean that he's going to be hitting his teammate.
Yeah, but the TP out. But, I mean, you said it before in the previous time. The DK is just not the hero you want. So if that's not the hero you want to smoke gank, is that really the hero that you want your...
Snaking solo potentially as he just needs to run out of there. They throw on the ice pop, and now Ana isolated. They've got the infinite shots coming out as well, but they're draining the mana from Snaking, so he can't throw out that many more. Popping the illusions onto the secure their retreat. VGJ Storm for the moment trying to stream forward, see if they can find a kill on a Thompson. Rezo pops the time lapse to run away, and they're going to be able to find the kill onto Thompson. Nice play there, but Ana still the one that they need to deal with. He is so hard to kill. They do find the real one, and they get the ice path as well. Ana starting to fall. Rezo gets the kill.
And now there's no Winter's Curse. So many of these big ultis used in the previous engagement.
And they're chasing the boat down as well. They've got one on the other side. Seb just trying desperately to get away, but MSS has him in his sights and is going to shadow Amulet in front of him. With all the mana drain, all the everything that they've got on hand, Seb eventually going to die.
A long fight that eventually goes the way of VGJ Storm. Anna just getting caught so close to that tower, and SVG played that fight so well, staying in that back line, earning himself up, trying to get that HP back as he almost went down, and then providing that ice path to save the life of Snaking and secure the kill on Anna.
And with no buybacks right now, it does look like VGJ Storm going to secure themselves this Tier 3 tower, while also possibly putting some work in onto one of the barracks. We'll see if they want to stick around.
This PL is so important. You really want to try and chip at this. I love this choice. He has the BKB. He has the Aegis. This is worth committing for a melee Rax.
Now Resolution actually burns through the Aegis. Thompson doing a good job of making sure they can kill him off one time.
Yeah, they might have goofed.
Oh, no. They are going to have to retreat now and actually get the lift up on the MSS as well. This can't be good is the call from Thompson as he realizes might be able to find that kill on MSS, and they will take him down.
Okay. Perhaps a bit over eager there. I'll take the blame for that one.
Jarex. In the meantime, down bottom, just going to throw out random light strike rays. He has been developing pretty well into a ganker at this point. Level 15, got that health talent, has a Yule Scepter to set up kills. Having a pretty good game.
Yeah, kind of gets another.
Got the ice path, but Anna not hit by it. Without MSS in the area, they're able to find one. So OG, in spite of being 10k net worth behind, are still able to put some pressure on the map with this PL.
Yeah, they're finding their moments, just understanding that MSS was down for that after they overextended. And they're not able to quite equalize in terms of getting like a tier 2 or something like that. Or maybe, of course, a tier 3 would be nice. But at this point, the next goals for VGJ Storm are going to be trying to pressure that top half of the map and take care of that shrine near the Roche pit, secure the next Aegis and Cheese for yourselves. And for the side of OG, they just got to find ways to enable Anna in these fights.
Dota Plus feeling quite good for boys of VGJ Storm. And we also saw a lot of those bounty runes picked up as well by OG. Thompson taking a couple. More ways to try and build up that deficit that they have right now in terms of net worth. Chunk into it a little bit.
You can see, though, they're putting those tomes on Thompson. Get him the Agnum Scepter. Get him the Bolt Mini Stun talent. Very irritating to deal with someone like a Weaver, where you have to be very precise with your skills.
Now they did find the Winter Wyvern in the bottom lane, and will be punished. MSS hunting with that fissure. And that does reveal his Shadow Blade, I believe, as well.
Talk about the dead lane. ESJ's helping me out, man. I'm learning everything.
You're a dad now, so you got to know dad jokes.
Is that what it is? Yeah.
8K net worth, 25 to 13. 31 minutes in, and VGJ Storm feeling quite good about themselves. As far as like the way that you take these team fights now, it does still sort of have that feel of Ana going in and making chaos. Is that still viable when you've got this Earthshaker?
Not too chaotic. The last fight was too much chaos. Like, just on a dragon, it needs to be some structured chaos. Like, oh, maybe the dragon, like if you can get on the Weaver or get on the Enchantress, like just keep track, try and force Rezo to play by your rules and not just cleaning up every single engagement the way he's been. See if they can get some sort of a leading stun onto him. But they got some unfinished business in this bottom lane for VGJ Storm. They just sick your wire on it.
Weaver level 25 talent as well. Sakuchi's speed, he has been able to just skyrocket.
Yeah.
Back for the Scotty after the fact. SVG just going to throw down a macro power to push out these illusions.
Oh, SVG, though. He's in trouble here in the mid lane, and at the same time, though, bottom.
MSS, they have the punches. Jarek's going to die, and simultaneously, they do take down SVG. So trade-off, and they're also able to find a random courier. Resolution kind of isolated, but again, that speed. He hit 20. And he's just off to the races. Still a minute and a half till Roche is capable of respawning.
Yeah, so now the team going to be punished for these side lane supports getting killed, but MSS, he's prepped, already towed him, but the vision's there.
He found Thompson. He does so much damage, and the rest of OG not really in position to help him out. They're trying to tear through this, guys, but there's going to be the Winter's Curse to follow it up. Do they have any chains down the Centaurs? Moving into position. They're able to find resolution. They get the second one as well. They finally get the but the MSS gets the time lapse off. They save the day yet again. On and now on the run, trying to get the heck out of here, but they are isolated. They are killed. Great play, and Seb just going to coldly embrace himself, just wants to hug to stay away from the damage coming out from VGJ Storm.
It's one of the best feelings in Dota when you're just an Earthshaker sitting on the side, MSS just lying in wait in the river for his perfect moment. Those creeps all just sitting right on top of the PL. A massive amount of damage. He did the most in that team fight for the squad. 2,332, and a large portion of that coming from that Echo. Now a 13k lead, you are on the high ground. They want a second tier 3 here, and maybe even some chip damage at that mid. But Rezo's busy chasing heroes.
Big Daddy No Tail, again going to be found, and snaking there with the impetus shots. They might need to buy back on this PL if they want to say, actually, no, they're doing a good job of holding out for the moment. Thompson, punched, fissure, caught. But there's going to be the Glimmer Cape to keep him alive. As the buildings start to take the damage, they go for the glyph, and they're going to go for the stun. Thinking about chasing for more. OG, a lot of defensive options.
It looks like they're set on just giving this one up.
Light Strike Array, they have everything. Laguna Blade as well, he's alive on nothing, but Thompson takes it. Now focusing back for the tier 3 tower, VGJ Storm, they're doing a great job of holding off, and Resolution hitting his partner there. They do pop the BKB to try and get the runaway. So again, VGJ Storm, maybe a little bit of overextension, but they did at least get the melee barracks.
Yeah, but OG able to save the buyback from the PL, so not a total disaster yet, and we are now back into the battle of the pit. Both teams going to be vying for this one, especially when you're missing buyback on some of these heroes. This would mean that Anna could go for that butterfly and then have an Aegis, because he won't have buyback by the time he's going to be able to get it. And here in this fight, you can see Rezo at first starts focusing the back line. This is what Weaver's so good at in these engagements.
Yeah, and then, of course, the wanting to find the chain stun from No Tail. Oh, there's so many of them.
And the Fisher alerts them, right? It's like, oh, I guess it's an Earthshaker.
Oh, an MSS feeling good about himself. Rezo smiling for his team.
Meanwhile, OG, they're in the pit right now, though.
And we do have a little pause, as apparently there was a crash.
Oh, looks like the team just... everyone mashed some buttons there.
You know, it's TI. Things get a little bit testy. There's a lot of emotions running high for these guys. But yeah, a good moment right here. If they can potentially sneak themselves a Roshan.
It won't be a sneak, that's for sure, because currently there are a lot of bugs in that pit.
Oh, okay.
They found their way in there, so... But, yeah, I don't know if we'll be able to contest. The Echo Slam is actually back up. So, MSS, no pressure. But this one's on you.
19 seconds until Enchantress is up. 18 for the Dragon Knight. They do have a teleport on Enchantress that is not on cooldown, so she could show up to that shrine very quickly.
Yeah, but this Rosh dies extremely fast. PL just such a better hero versus Roshan than he used to be. Now the illusions can stay.
Some issues with freezing and we got the smiley faces as well. Despite it playing on the big stage, a little bit of, you know, love being thrown back and forth. Do have the tips coming out as well. Man, what a storyline, though. I mean, we alluded to it earlier. These two teams meeting in the upper bracket, they both, you know, ran through some roster issues leading up to this that led them to reforming their teams. You've got two former coaches, obviously SVG, known well for coaching EG, Seb for coaching OG. The team that he's now on, and showing up here. It's a great storyline.
Talking about playing the long con. Like, slowly, eventually, I'll get my hands on this team.
Absolutely.
I think, although this Aegis is, of course, very important in this game, especially for OG, I don't think it secures them any sort of, like, it's not like they're going to be in the lead now, right? I mean, it's still a 13k deficit. It is Aegis and Cheese, but it feels like these fights are just... It's so important that Anna can just create this chaos. I guess in this sense, it's going to give them that secondary life that if they have to now try and find a way to kill him without the Echo Slam. So that is a pretty big deal. Because if the rest of the OG can survive, and it's not just simply Anna versus 5, and there's some sort of a team fight happening around him, that will give him a lot of maneuverability. So perhaps that secondary life will give them an opportunity to actually find some of these kills. But it still just feels like Rezo. Like, there's no real secure pick-off rather, in terms of like actual control. Who's going to build into a scythe this early on for that team? No one really. And it is a very late pick Weaver, so it's understandable why it looks so good.
Yeah, and I guess the other thing too, when you're looking at like the sort of how do you deal with this hero in the fight. He's getting close to that Talisman of Evasion, like fully into the butterfly. He can swap in the Talisman of Evasion if he wants, and then DK really doesn't have an answer for that either, because that would be the other way that you try and burn through Ana, is like trying to kill him off with the illusions instead of just having that extra burst of magical damage from the Echo. So it does kind of feel like, in a way, if you're this PL, you can kind of get away with a lot once that Aegis is in hand, just running at them over and over again. Of course, they do need to make their way through the other tier 2 towers before that happens.
And they have to get the Aegis, which we're still not quite even there yet. So who knows what's going to happen in this one.
That's true enough. If we've seen anything this tournament, got some big old Echo Slams that potentially could be making their presence known. It looks like they're going to be giving it a try.
All right.
Let's hear it for these teams on the big stage. Back into it now as they try and take down Roshan and MSS. Shadow Blade forward.
He's trying to find a good angle here, but there's the oh, okay, they bundled up.
Ice Path as well, out. There's MSS in the area looking for the opening. He finds the Echo. Can he take down Roshi? He gets it. Ana, though, secures the Aegis. Thompson kills off MSS. It looked pretty, but only for a second. Resolution, though. They buy back on MSS again. Seb coldly embraced. They pop the BKB. Ana trying to tear into him. He does still have this Aegis. There's going to be the Manta to take off the dual breath and the chase down as well. They got him controlled, and there's the Aegis down.
Yeah, and this is the problem. They have great follow-up, too. They have the Fisher to start, and another Ice Path in just a moment.
Do they have the damage? Yes, indeedy duty. Ana going down again. No buyback, 80 seconds.
Even with the Aegis, even with the cheese, he still needs some sort of a fight around him. You can't just be this complete focus for 5 heroes on VGJ Storm to go after. And with no buyback, VGJ Storm, they are pushing onto that high ground, feeling very confident. MSS, he showed up here.
They've got the catapult in the area. They're going to leave that range barracks to Cardi as Yawar moves forward, as well as Resolution, taking this down. They do have the UL Scepter. Look up. A nice kill there, potentially, on MSS. He's walking away, but Thompson able to clean up. Stun onto Jarex. Send back as well.
This whole time, Rez is an objective gamer up here. He's already taken down the range racks, got a lot of damage onto the melees, and this is before they can just regroup beside the Radiant.
Showing a lot of respect to OG, though, as they are going to retreat for the moment. Without MSS there, they're playing it safe. He did buy back in that last engagement, which might be part of the reason. If you potentially throw away a lead, you know, maybe they didn't know that PL was on buyback, and if they dove in, it could have been a kill.
Yeah, he ended up taking into it as well throughout that too. So there potentially was some plays there for Ana if they dove too deep. So it ends up being a good decision here from VGJ Storm. They'll just settle on back and try and get some of these items up from their last couple victories. It is only a 12k lead at this point too, so that whole Roche fight endeavor didn't go too bad for OG, as they're obviously still in this game.
31-18.
Terrence is trying to find a solution here through an E-Blade.
God. Yeah, I mean, everybody's on top of him here, and this should be another quick and easy pickup in spite of the cold embrace. And now they found Seb as well. No way out of there. Winter's Curse is trying to keep them back. If Yawar jumps forward, they are
the Ice Path again.
Ice Path onto Ana, but they think it's the different one. So Ana able to walk away free, draining through the mana of Yawar. The chase forward for more. Ana in no man's land yet again. They get the doppelganger walk away. Rezo still chasing, still finding some damage out. And with the bugs on him, this should potentially, they're trying to take him back. No, the send back. It might actually end up working. He's running, and he does get out of there.
It cost him the cheese, though. He's back.
Ana back into this one. Okay, chasing and snaking. Gonna head out of there as well.
Got the, maybe with the Nimbus?
Possibly. Chase, lots of damage. With that hood, though, he's very, very tanky. Snaking, running away yet again. Slowed the heal. It's not enough, and that's actually the gem.
Okay, at this point, though, the dunk is back from MSS.
Thinking about it. So careful. Blink Dagger on cooldown, though. And OG, realizing the Enchantress, dead for 60 seconds, they want to see if they can get something out of this.
Come back this tier 2, but very difficult to think about poking high ground now. Without that cheese, without that Aegis, with the Echo Slam up, and it's time to just back away. Be happy with what you got. De-ward a little bit. Try and take back some of the vision in this game. Currently not too much right now for the Radiant side. So they'll drop a few wards of their own before heading back.
And at the end of the day, that top lane is just pushing in, so lots of pressure on to OG. Being down a couple of racks at this stage in the game never necessarily feels good, but they do have a lot of outspam. They've got ways to deal with it.
I wouldn't even say like any fight has looked particularly good for OG this whole game. But it still just comes down to that one engagement, right? If this PL just gets out of hand just once, it can be absolutely brutal. And notice how it goes down. Now, they did smoke on top of the ward, so he was, I think, just anticipating those 3 heroes coming. Just gets caught out by a Weaver.
Again, caught though. They have one set of lockdown, the ice path down as well. They've got the BKB.
And one more.
Keeping him alive. They've got the fissure. He's still stuck there. Going to be able to walk away for the moment. There's the Winter's Curse to try and turn it now, isolating and controlling that DK.
Oh, there's a great Yule Scepter there from Jax with the extra cast range to stop the follow-up stun that's going to come up from MSS, and they gladly would have solo dunked on top of Anna there, I'm sure.
40 minutes in. Still, OG up against the ropes. Feeling trapped back in a little bit.
Yes.
MSS hunting. Maybe anticipating movement over for the bounty runes.
Yeah, good stand though.
Yeah. Recognize that would have been bad.
DD rune will be found here.
So if you're VGJ Storm, how do you look to close this out? Do you need to wait for that next Roshan? And PL continues to become a bigger and bigger issue.
Try and find some pickoffs. They're going to find Jerax. At the same time, Rezo is being chased down here. Oh, I'm sick. Snaking is.
Does have a lot of heal coming his way, but all the burst in the world.
But this is the DD Weaver.
Resolution chasing. They drop the dunk onto one. Are they going to be able to kill him off? Kind of isolated, but still getting a lot of heals coming back in. And Rezo godlike. MSS pops the dust. He still has a heal. Loses on him and just going to try and run it. Thompson. Resolution has so much damage, but he's going to be killed. OG find the pickoff. That's what they needed.
Yeah, Rezo just going a bit too deep there without the BKB being left, losing some of his allies. And even with all these structures, again, these fights, that's finally one that looks good, right? Even with some picks being traded at the start, getting rid of snaking like that, and no constant control on top of Anna. It was a solo Echo with no other efforts being placed on top of him. And then after that, Anna can play a lot more freely.
A dream fight pretty much for PL there if you can't burst through him. And it is feeling like it's taking more and more of these resources, plus the doppelganger illusion that, you know, shares the same amount of damage percentage that you take. Been a little bit hard to find which one is the real PL.
Yeah, unfortunate for Anna here, that top lane not pushed out. So no pressure on the tier 2. Can't really secure that for themselves. And there's a replay down to snaking game picked off. And at this point, this is where the dunk comes in, as he just suddenly appears on top of MSS. So he goes for the dunk, but there's no secondary follow-up in terms of damage because Rezo's focusing down No Tail. Stuck on the other side of the Fissure, too.
And in a lot of ways, this is one of those games where you get so much value.
SVG.
Oh, he's caught. Throws out the ice path. Is going to stun Ana. Do they have any follow-up, though? The fissure is there, but Ana just gets away with murder. And now the Cold Embrace turning onto their allies. The Enchantress, a lot of damage being dealt to VGJ Storm. Light Strike Ray is not going to be there, but still chasing MSS, thinking about going in. They do find that kill with the Laguna Blade.
And his allies are all dying while the Echo Slam's on cooldown.
And they don't have buyback on the Enchantress or the Jakiro. OG kind of in a good position here with the tier 3 tower being assaulted. Rezo needs to hold this one alone without the Jakiro or the Enchantress. They've got UR also. SS hanging on to that Echo Slam. Where does he decide to drop it?
He's so far back right now, trying to find that moment. Needs the help of Rezo this time.
The wraparound, they need to get them all grouped together, but OG, they're doing such a good job. They're instead going to try and take down Thompson first. They force him out, but again, the Cold Embrace, it's so hard to deal with. They have the Light Strike as well, and now they have buyback on the Dragon Knight. MSS walking forward, finds the Echo onto 2.
It's not enough.
Bad, but they're not going to find it, and he doesn't have buyback either. OG potentially with a position to get themselves some of these objectives. There's no buyback on 3 of these heroes, and OG streaming forward. Ana going to take a lane of barracks.
This Phantom Lancer has just gotten to that point. If they can't sync up the damage from Rezo, what's left? They need that massive Echo Slam.
You can start to feel something building here for OG as they've waited out in this game. A lift up there with the Yule Scepter, Light Strike Array as well, draining through the man of the Ice Path to save, but he's gone! 100 seconds, has to buy back and get back into this fight. OG taking the tier 3 tower, now moving on to the other barracks. How quickly things change. Only now a 3,000 gold lead.
And it looks like for now, they are just going to calmly start backing away. Oh, but no, it's them!
The Winter's Curse, they turn it, they find him! Is he going to go down? The Enchantress taking a ton of damage. They have the second Light Strike Array. Weaver's down through 2 minutes! OG, they're taking them down, and this might be GG!
so much of that in the early game. Played fantastically from VGJ Storm, but they just couldn't keep up the same pace, the same control on the Ana. And he deserves so much love for that game. Like, controlled up constantly, but those chaotic fights, they finally came. They actually got them without those massive echo slams.
Oh, and look at him giving love to the teammate. Again, the adoration for Ana. And again, VGJ Storm, for so long, it felt like they were in control of that game, but OG holding out. Yeah. Now feeling a little bit of love from the crowd.
Yeah, you just know that Phantom Lancer at a point he feels very difficult to deal with. And VGJ Storm, a couple of times, they got a little bit ahead of themselves. Maybe they should have slightly paced it a bit better, and that game could have been theirs, but that's the stage of TI. You make one little slip up, and suddenly the game's not yours anymore.
And really impressive showing there from OG. And as you said, all the pressure in the world fighting for that Aegis, wanting to make their mark felt. And this is just the beginning. Only game one of OG versus VGJ Storm. So we get ready to head back over to the panel.
Yes, indeed. What a start to the day, ladies and gentlemen. A fabulous first game in this best-of-3 series. More of that, thank you very much, in game two. It'll be very nice. Fantastic start for VGJ Storm. In control, it seemed, pushing all the lanes out, and then suddenly, never underestimate OG. What a brilliant first game.
Yeah, good coordination coming out from OG as the game progressed. And when they're on the back, in the beginning, when they're on the back foot, they were kind of missing a little bit of their spells. But in the clutch situations, I kept seeing those curses coming out from Seb with Jarax in the follow-up over and over again, catching resolution when it mattered most. Right there at the end, those two situations. He walks up, gets burst down.
It's crazy, isn't it? A game like that looks like 95% of the game looks, for all intents and purposes, it's a VGJ Storm victory all the way through. And then just the last 5% of the game, just brilliant play from OG.
Yeah, it was something BSJ in his analysis kind of said at the start. Was like, if this BL gets 3 or 4 items, he can win this game. It's just he's going to have that rough start. So I think OG, you know, they were comfortable playing from behind. It's something they do quite a bit with some of their greedier drafts, even in their past teams. So for them, they killed that Weaver once. When they ended his godlike streak around that kind of bottom side of the map, that was the game suddenly like, hey, we can actually win this.
Yeah, lots of dragons in here. Not all happy dragons after the end of that game.
Yeah, like only unhappy dragons. Well, I guess one happy frost dragon.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Hey, the old memes never die, right?
All right, we're going to get Scandinavian then.
I'm Danish.
You are?
Yeah, I'm Danish.
Can you teach everyone a Danish word before we start? No? I know one.
Okay.
Krona, which is your currency. Krona.
Krone.
That's what I said. Krona.
Yeah.
And there's a Danish dessert as well, which is really hard to say. It's like
Rødgrød med fløde.
that one.
Yeah.
All right. So we're here to talk a little bit, understand a little bit more about, say, a player or a community. Where did you want to take this one?
So I want to talk a little bit about Topson, because I think he's one of the players from OG that maybe a lot of the audience knows the least about. He's an up-and-coming player that got a big break here with OG. And there's this interesting pattern, actually, for the Finnish players that are here. We have 3 Finnish players. We have Jarax, Matumbaman, and Topson. All of them started in, or got their big break after playing in a big Finnish stack. We had 5 anchors and, no, just 5 anchors actually they were called.
We've
5
got
anchors,
4
no
anchors
sea captain.
on the desk as well.
Yeah, 5 anchors, no sea captain was where Topson, that was his last team before he got picked up by OG. For both Jarax and Matumbaman, it was 4 anchors, 1 sea captain, I think it was called. So
and not winter.
Pretty similar.
facts are never satisfied, are you? Hope you enjoy being bitter, because I will.
Now things get interesting.
And no one can stop us now.
Forgive me, my lady.
Absolutely incredible. I just don't understand how these films get better every year. Shout out to all of the creators that sent in all of their films for the top 10. We'll show the last three a little bit later on, and we'll announce the winner as well. Perhaps Casey can ask some of the fans what they're making of these incredible movies.
Ooh, that's a good idea. I'll be doing that. But we have some new friends here, right? We're all new friends? Yeah? Just you. Great. Trent's like, my name's Trent. I said, like Trent Reznor. And you said?
Oh, my dad named me after Trent Reznor, yeah.
Like, for real?
Yeah, like the guy from 9 Inch Nails, yeah.
No, I know who Trevor Reznor is. Thank you. I'm not that uncool. We were talking about that last game. Talk me through what your emotions were.
Oh, at the beginning of the game, we saw OG make a few mistakes, and me and my friends were, they kind of got it. And then towards the end, we saw the Dota plus %, we were like, But then, like, when they started hitting the racks, we just were crazy. We were so happy, and then they got the Weaver kill, and it was in at that point. There was no buyback. He was totally done. It was an amazing game to watch, actually. A good first game.
And you came here quite a ways to see this.
Yeah, all the way from California. It was like a 14-hour drive, and it was like $500 in gas money. And that made it pretty worth it. Yeah, it was good. Yeah.
I feel like you're about to ask me for gas money, and I'm tapped out.
That's fine. Yeah.
I spent a lot of money to get up here. Who are you guys all here for?
What?
Strike.
Yeah, Strike.
Virtus Pro.
Maybe.
Hey? I already know you. Forget.
Canada.
Canada as well.
You're here from Canada, but who are you here rooting for?
Liquid.
EG.
EG and Liquid. Oh, see, friendships are divided over this. Now, something that happens every year is Myron gets really upset that he's not on camera. Myron, it's your turn to shine, my friend. All right, you ready? Okay, I'm going to hand the microphone. Oh, great. All right. Here we go. It's a terrible idea. All right. Oh, that's a terrible film. Hang on, don't worry, guys. We got this. Wait, Myron, how do you focus? No, back the other way. Zoom out. Here we go. Myron, sign it.
I guess I'll keep my day job.
Big heart.
Let's see what you did. Oh, God, this is heavy. I'm sure it's there somewhere, Myron. Good job. Good job, buddy. Hey, everybody. All right. Yay. All right, back to you. I am so terrible at this. I'm so sorry. Yeah, Aaron. Woo.
Casey, stop now.
Yes.
Is there a thing called camera sickness? Because I think I've got it.
Yes.
Please
oh
stop.
my gosh, sorry, Myron. That's way harder than.
Give it back, Casey. Give it back.
Yeah. Do you see how bad the focus was?
I'm the same. I'm with you. It's fine.
Literally, they gave it to me, and the production gets to my ear, and they're like, "Zoom out! Sorry, everyone.
Yeah.
And now we have a
good.
crowd. Great.
All good. Thank you
Come
very
on,
much,
guys.
Casey.
Let's give it up for Myron.
Yes. Also part of the fixturing fittings here at the International. Good to have you back, buddy. And thank you very much to Casey, of course, as well. Well done. We're about to get the teams back out for game number 2 very shortly. So let's look ahead. What are you looking ahead for now? I mean, VGJ Storm, they came out of that booth looking a little bit down after that, feeling like maybe they should have won that one.
Yeah, I think for them, stick with their draft, stick with their playstyle that's been working so well for them. Because that game, they looked like they had it secured for the majority of it.
Ladies and gentlemen, the 2 teams of this third quarterfinal of the upper bracket return. Top 6 here at the International. Just a shout out to all of you that bought the Battle Pass and bought levels. It is a new world record for a single esports event prize money. So well done, everyone. That includes all of you as well. I've seen your Battle Pass levels. I'm 418. Where are you at?
1,600.
All right. No need to show off.
We're going to have one of these contests. Is that?
Yeah.
Is my Battle Pass bigger than yours?
Let's not go down the levels route, all right? Let's not go down that route.
Some of us are a bit insecure.
Yeah, indeed. Right, do you know what we've heard from one team? Why don't we hear from the other team who caught up with Casey as they headed in to the International 2018?
A lot of people, when they talk about this team, talk about a lot of the roster changes that you've gone through, and yet, especially recently, you seem to still be able to maintain your momentum. What do you think is the reasoning behind being able to gel so well as a team despite those?
I think Anna and Topias just made it easy. Anna is some guy who took a 1-year break from Dota, and he was really hungry to come back, and Topias is a handful, but we make it work.
So we're going to talk about the thing that everybody's talking about, which is S4 and Fly leaving, and you all had to reset pretty quickly. No-Tell, for you, what was that like, going through that change?
I'm actually not that willing to talk about it.
Yeah.
It's something for later, another day.
Can you help people understand why you don't want to talk about it so that we can all leave you alone?
It's just personal. It's nobody's business.
Right. And yet the team had to come together pretty quickly. So when you looked at rebuilding the team, what were you looking for?
Teams, rebuilds or reforms other teams. I mean, Anna was luckily willing to join and Topias was available. Destiny, I guess.
When you have to play through qualifiers, you're obviously playing more games. Does that, in some ways, is that a positive?
It's for sure a good thing, yeah. Especially when we just rebuilt. We're like hungry to like play together and get as much play time as we can, getting to know each other better in the game. So the more games, the better.
I was personally more happy not being qualified and then going for all the way, because I think this is where teams really come together or then they shatter. I think this was a very big learning opportunity for all of us.
And how do you guys like playing support together alongside each other?
Playing support together is kind of an old team, I would say. And it used to be like two people being really close to each other. But now it's like, it's more about me and him and this and this guy. And we are the combo.
Yeah.
And this guy has been supporting, like, when did you support back then? So I switched to Dota and played for Fnatic and then C9. So I had like 3 years before him.
Versus coaching.
Coaching became less exciting after a while, but at first I remember like it was super exciting and it was a great journey. Now I get the same feeling now playing that I got when I started coaching. Yeah, so I mean it's been great.
For those of you who have been playing longer, does the motivation come from the fact that the game and the pro scene continues to change? There's always something new to set your sights on?
I think it's to each his own.
Yeah. What is it for you?
I just want to own some noobs. Wake up in the morning and that's
it. Yeah. How will it feel playing in front of TI fans? I mean, obviously you have fans who follow you year round, but the fans really come out of the woodwork for this event and the hype around it is just unmatched.
As a pro player, I don't think that's main focus.
Yeah.
Of course, it's the reason why we're able to do what we do is all the fans. I mean, personally, I'm very beyond appreciative of that. As a player, once you go into these tournaments, like you sit down in front of the computer and now it's just like any other game.
Yeah.
You might as well be sitting at home. And it probably wouldn't also help if every time something happened, you would look up, look at the crowd.
What does everyone think?
No, it's probably a really good gift for the audience. Also, when people are just focused on playing their best Dota, we're all also big Dota fans. We love watching Dota.
Right.
So, as a Dota spectator, it's usually what you like to see and just like witness some great games.
When you come out of the pods after playing an amazing series and the crowd is like freaking out, can you describe what that's like?
I can say it feels great for sure, but to be honest, personally, I don't know how the others feel, but I maybe enjoy it even more from the spectator point of view than from the player point of view. When you're just done playing a game as a player, you're very focused. You're in the bubble, kind of. So you need some time to get out of it, like get back to reality.
I think it's the same for most.
Yeah.
Unless you maybe win the tournament and you're there and like you realize that the tournament's over, you might be able to, enter reality faster. But if you're playing and you win a game or lose a game, it's kind of like, what's next?
What would it mean to each of you to win the Aegis at TI8?
I'm trying to just gather all the Dota items. Like I got the Eagle Song, got the Reaver, Mystic Staff, Aegis. I remember with Branch, I'll surely get one day.
Okay.
So that's me.
I think most of us here, probably all of us, is just here to play Dota. And competition is what we are here for. And where else can we play the best teams?
Yeah.
If you win it, then you probably beat all the best teams.
Yeah, never a truer word said. If you beat all the teams, you're definitely the winner. That's how it usually works at a tournament. Well done. We haven't really touched too much on the departure, but there's no more iconic duo in the history of Dota 2 than No Town and Fly as a player combo. And to see them break up, we haven't really touched on it so far at the tournament, but it is a sad end to that kind of relationship. Obviously, they want to deal with it personally and whatever, but from a playing point of view, it's
Versus VGJ Storm. Game 2.
the draft ahead of us between these two teams. As a reminder, and if you're just joining us, OG lead by a game to 0. The winner claims a top 6 finish, guaranteed at the International 2018. The loser goes down to the lower bracket for a second chance. And OG are just one game away. So tantalisingly close. When it's like this, Bog, are you tensing up a little bit? Are you thinking about that? Or are you able to do what No Town and Seb were saying in the interview? Are you able to just block all of that out, block the crowd out, block out what it means? Just focus game at a time.
Probably depends from player to player, just what you thrive off of. Some players really enjoy that excitement of hearing the crowd booming. You look up and you're just like, yeah, I did that play. Some other players they want to stay in their own focus, in their own zone, rather than actually paying attention to anything around them.
Now, Anna's got some experience here, and obviously Seb's got a ton of experience, as has No Town and Jarax as well. But what about Thompson in there? It's going through his mind right now. First TI, big stage.
I mean, I think I'm speaking for most people. Like, when you're at the drafting stage, you actually... everyone is pretty much nervous, I think. But once you're actually sitting at the PC, you're getting into the game, you will start to focus, like what Notes has said before. And we'll have to see what kind of person Thompson is, whether he can just settle into it or whether he will be a bit nervous, a bit crack under pressure. But last game he played.
In this game.
This feels more comfort. Like MSS played quite a bit of Phoenix during the group stage. Nature's Prophet, always a hero VGJ Storm have looked good on. So I feel like this is a good way to go after. They're the ones under pressure now. They feel nervous. They lost after a great group stage. They're also drafting with less time. There's a lot more pressure on them than OG right now.
It's very true. They had a fantastic group stage. Every single day it seemed that they were on the top of the lists of teams that have won the most games.
This seems to be probably the best answer to the Phoenix that I've seen in every single game. Just the Lina pickup. You can kill the egg by yourself.
Even as a support.
Stacks. Yeah, even as a support. You actually just attack so fast and from such a far distance.
We didn't get a chance to talk about that much. What did you make of the change up in the last game, that Lina support?
I thought it worked out. I thought it ended up working out great. In the beginning, it looked a little shaky because we're like they're not really the most reliable disables to deal with the Weaver, but then they consistent, as the game progressed, they got like 2 or 3 perfect combos. So, yeah, it worked.
But that's what we spoke about, right? Like, their draft is so unpredictable, and until the very last pick, they actually, the enemy team did not know at all who's core, who's support.
Yeah. That's the second Lina support game they've played at this tournament, and they've won both.
Yeah, OG tends to have these, just
little pocket
strange drafts, just strange ways that they prioritize switching heroes up.
Yeah.
But it works for them.
And it's strange, but it's like a concept that's always been done, these flex opening picks. Like, if you can run Lina as a corner support, it makes it a very strong first 2 hero for them. And that's why they're first 2 picking it while no one else is.
Yeah. And Seb has always, when he was coaching, he wanted to do it like that. He wanted to have those flex picks in the first 2, so you never knew quite where you were going. And that's carried on. As we move into the end of the second phase ban here. I just wanted to go through Jarax's picks so far at TI4. He's had 4 games on Earthshaker, 2 on the Wyvern, 2 on the Venge, And then a mixture of supports and cores. Rubik, Dark Willow, the Shaman, the Lina twice, Lich, the IO, the Tusk, and the Tiny. Quite, I mean, you know, for a support player, that's quite a range, isn't it?
Yeah. I didn't know he actually played Tiny, too.
He hasn't played Earth Spirit yet?
No.
He hasn't played the Earth Spirit yet. How come?
Which GH has, we've seen a GH Spirit already. But it also means Tusk is now his most played hero.
Tusk is
Yes,
most played hero.
the Spirit is now second.
I haven't seen the rise of the Tusk at this tournament again, man.
Yeah.
Some really, really impressive plays from FY in particular.
In the right draft, it just saves you games.
Yeah.
Is that not the story of this TI? We often talk about meta and how it's going to evolve and what comes out and what's hot early on. It doesn't seem that there is a defined one this time. It feels more like it's very circumstantial.
Every team has like their own meta here.
Yeah.
Like they just do what they're best at, and I really like that because copying other teams is good sometimes, but for these like really big tournaments, you need to like add your own spice to it.
Yeah, because if you could just copy a lineup and they actually take it on the side of Storm.
Yeah, it's gone the other way.
Yeah, the big thing about this draft that's changed for Storm is they've targeted a different player. They're targeting Anna's heroes. They banned PL first stage, Spectromorph now. Last game it was let's take away Thompson's heroes. So it seems like there's been a big switch in mentality going into game 2.
So how do they lane that? MSS plays the Phoenix,
MSS.
right?
Well, MSS will play the Esper, I would imagine.
I think
but he plays both,
SVG,
right?
Phoenix, MSS, or Spirit probably, and then Nature probably would be.
SVG played a lot of Phoenix before too?
He used to play it.
I thought it was always MSS.
Back in the day, but not
I think
recently.
not recent. Yeah, recent it's always been MSS. But I don't think
SVG played the Earth Spirit, because I feel like he might have.
I mean, the Esper is a more defined 4, isn't it?
Yeah. I mean, it can be run as 5, but you need...
rarely is a 5, though.
You need a blink decker eventually. And Phoenix is like, you can kind of just dive in and ult.
That's actually, yeah, I wonder. I mean, I'd imagine it's going to be that 5.
Just leaves them guessing as well. If we're guessing, I'm sure.
Mm-hmm.
The OG boys are
Or maybe it's a safe lane Prophet.
Maybe it's a core Phoenix.
Yeah, maybe. Radiance burn against the chain creeps.
I don't think you'd want to make it core because you're versus that leader.
Yeah,
Well, like the Supernovas are
Kind of dissuades them, doesn't it?
Okay, yeah. I think now it should definitely be a support.
Yeah. Now you're definitely 5. Now you're position 5 Phoenix for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
An old classic versus that Phoenix. The Troll also works pretty well versus Nature's Prophet because you probably have that Calling Blade for a while to get yourself out.
Even the lane's pretty good. You're not as scared of the trees. You get the whirling axes with the mischance. You just feel like a decent laner. Yeah.
But Troll in general is quite like a big question mark in the current meta because there's this big like gap where he needs to farm 1 or 2 items to become really useful, and that's where a lot of teams actually like start winning and taking over the game. So we'll have to see how it works out.
And he's kind of clunky too, right? The hero just naturally just feels a little bit clunky, and playing into Earth Spirit and Phoenix. The biggest downfall for me when I see Trolls is not Synderen. Sorry, when I say Trolls, I just for a second I think Synderen. When I see Trolls suffer is when they don't have that BKB timing early, and these magic damage heroes just completely decimate them.
Yeah. Probably gonna pick more Kite for the Troll. Stuns, slows.
And the obvious carries were kind of banned out. The Weaver, Drower, some of those kiting cores.
Yep.
Plenty of other options.
Low time though on Storm.
7 seconds left.
OG's turn to pick.
I think it can go both ways.
Yeah.
Like, if Troll ever bashes the Ursa, then Ursa is screwed.
But if Ursa ever bashes Troll,
then Troll is screwed.
Once you get your item, of course.
Yeah, if you get a bash up. 10% versus 25%.
The mischance is pretty annoying for the Ursa.
Yeah, but you can enrage it off.
Well, it's more if he can wait till you enrage.
He can wait,
yeah, of course. But if you jump on him and he blinds you, you just...
The one plan that I really like for VGJ Storm with the Ursa is now they've got this Roshing hero with their Nature's Prophet, and then they have this defense around the Rosh pit. With Earth Spirit as well as Phoenix, they have great team fight around that Rosh pit.
And they're leaving Rezo's pick for the ultimate 10. Is it going to be? Yeah, it's going to be the 10th pick for Rezo, probably.
You think Yuar's going to play the Ursa?
Is Rezo usually playing it? Well, I guess it depends on what last pick they have.
Yeah, usually UR plays the mid.
Right, yeah.
Usually.
But they swap around a lot. Resolution sometimes on the off lane, like some DK.
It gives them flexibility with both Ursa and Nature's Prophet because you only utilize that 10th pick when you have it to kind of get that X Factor hero that's going to be your win condition, going to win you the game.
Yeah.
And they can't pick their mid because they don't know Lena. If they know Lena's going mid, they could get like a TA or something, but Lena has been shown to be played as a forward.
Same 3 heroes as before.
Yep, three common picks. And there's Wyvern's great versus Focus Fire, but Phoenix is good versus Wyvern.
Yeah, but they already have 2 really good heroes against Phoenix. I really feel like
yeah.
Phoenix is going to be like a non-factor this game almost. Or he should be at least. Maybe he's just going to go crazy.
The Sunray can be really potent though. If you get that like Spirit Vessel, if you go for that type of build that we've seen, what Fly was the one who started really capitalizing on doing it.
But if it's really a position 5 Phoenix, then he probably won't be farming too much.
Yeah, that's one where I guess we'll see which one goes where, right?
Yeah.
It's going to be kind of neat. They take out the Thompson Invoker.
Monkey King's still there, but that's just not really playable when you don't know your matchup.
Yeah, you have to like pick it into a good matchup.
5 seconds remaining.
I just want to say thank you to the man that sent me the stats on Jakiro at the International all time.
Who's that?
For having the worst win rate of every hero.
At TI? Worse than Oracle?
Apparently so.
Jeez.
Oracle's pretty OP.
I think Oracle's great.
Jakiro also lost the last game, so that win rate's continued to go down. Thanks.
What they take out here? They took out
I'm surprised Necro's gone untouched this draft. I guess it has kind of fallen off a bit after the group stage.
Definitely.
Yeah, it lost.
It was
a lot.
Banned in the last game, right? Yeah, it was banned in the
first 3.
Yeah.
I mean, for Storm, it's like the Lina is really annoying for the Necro, but then I guess that's about it. Like versus Troll and versus Wyvern, Necro's pretty good. Could be an option for Storm if they want to run it. They've ran it mid before. They usually run on snaking, but.
VGJ Storm.
Oh, the Venom versus the Ursa.
The #1 probably best hero against Ursa.
I see Liquid do it time and time again, picking that Venom versus the Ursa.
Like they're countering what's in front of them. Like you don't know what's coming as that 10 pick. Pick something safe, stable that's just going to counter the hero in front of you, and then VGJ Storm do have this last pick coming now. I gotta wonder what it's going to be.
They're very limited on time.
Yep.
And OG's lanes are like not obvious at all. They could lane however they want to. Go for the Storm Spirit, yeah. Like they're really good against the Venom, of course. The best case scenario is you jump the guy, you kill him before you poison overs, and Storm is the best at doing that.
Looks similar idea to the last one, right? Unreliable stuns on OG. They go for some elusive take over the game hero.
Venom in the group stages was 7 played, 85.7% win rate.
Ooh.
85.5? 6 out of 7.
85.7. Do you know what? Before we get your final thoughts, let's get some thoughts from a coach who has just left the OG booth, who's with Casey.
Hello, yes. So we just watched the draft for Game 2. Can you walk us through your thoughts on how that went for you?
Well, it went according to the plan. I mean, we did our homework, and exactly as in the first draft, we expected what they picked. So I think we have it. I didn't see the last pick, but I think we are on the right track.
How much of the way Game 1 went factored into your decision on how to draft this time around?
Didn't change much. I mean, the only thing that we were scared in the first game is like usually the first game that we play is like so awful. People are like missing stuns and stuff. It really happens. And I'm glad that everybody like woke up earlier and they did some practice, so they were warmed up. As you can see, Johan didn't fed the first blood, so it was sad, but doesn't matter. It's like we changed the pattern. It was good, so I think it's going to be okay.
Thank you so much. Best of luck.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you very much, Casey. Thank you very much to pass around as well, coach of OG. Time to head over to our commentary team. It is Mr. Lyrical G and Mr. T-Pax to take you through Game 2.
Thank you so much, Paul. That is amazing.
Who let him do that?
I have no idea. But ladies and gentlemen, OG 1 game away from the best placement that organization has ever had at the International. Can you believe it?
Something else. I don't know. They started this draft off again here, right? Same thing. And yet, what did we wind up with? Something almost completely different. It will not be the same support duo as the previous match. This time it's going to be the Chen helped up by the Winter Wyvern. And it's going to be Thompson on that Lina. So that little bit of a flexibility coming in near the end. And Seb winds up with, I know we've had Pugman, and I know we've had Necrophos, and there's some nasty green heroes, and people throwing Viper, but the nastiest of the green heroes is certainly the Venomancer, especially if you're trying to play this Ursa. You heard the panel talking about it. It is so hard to get through those plague wards in a fight.
It's impossible, really. And, you know, you can do things now, like enrage off the Gale. That's not as much of an issue for the Ursa, but it's all those little bits and pieces of slows, which Seb is going to be throwing out. And I'm curious to see how many chat wheels he's going to have as well with the hero voice lines. But nonetheless, it is also going to be an Ana Troll Warlord. This is one of the heroes that if you go back even to Kiev Major when they won that one, he was on it and made a bunch of big calls for his team, and they were able to take that win as well. So certainly a hero that he's comfortable with, and it's going to be their answer for the Phoenix in this game.
Yeah, it's very interesting. It's a hero that we don't see a whole lot of teams specialize in, but if you can be comfortable with it and have this option of being able to put it in the mid lane or in the safe lane, it can be very valuable. It's just another flex pick. I mean, 3 of their first their picks could kind of go a couple different ways there, so it was good stuff there for OG. And we'll see if they're going to be content with the setup down bottom. They will miss out on the bounty runes, and I'll just try and get some free hits, but there is a bit of a sandwich coming down on him.
Ana maybe in some trouble, slowed down, and they're going to be able to find an Earth Shock as well, doing some damage there to Ana. Are they going to be able to find the kill? The punch, one more is there, and SVG gets the kill.
And that was secured right there. I think the plan might have been to give it to Rezo, but they couldn't quite do it.
Sneaky, sneaky.
Okay, so once again, MSS in the previous match, he was on that Earthshaker, and that pick, not the strongest in the lanes. We always talk about this 2-1-2, and how when this meta first started, it was a lot of like basically picking 2 position 5 heroes. But now you can get away with some of these greedier heroes by picking extremely strong laners. Last match we had ENG, and this time it's going to be the Nature's Prophet. Now, that means you can also be a bit sneaky here with a Veno.
Looking
Jerax.
Walking forward, Jerax finds the courier. Yawar did not have his eyes on it.
This is one of those plays that comes out every once in a while, right? Sometimes teams are ready for it. They wait to see all 5 heroes in the enemy team before they want to make the courier call into the mid lane. This time, they weren't able to spot the positioning of Jerax, so an excellent move there.
And you see already, Seb actually going to make the long rotation. He's walking to the bottom lane on this Venomancer. Yep. Deciding that he does not like the look of the matchup down there and instead is going to try and pair off against the Ursa.
Yeah, you don't want to lose that TP battle either. You don't want TP down here because then they're just going to swap around as well. And speaking of TPs, they will send MSS up top now. That'll just end up being some very nice early experience for No-Tail. However, Veno also wants to be pretty ahead on experience just to keep bullying and pressuring in the lane, so Seb going to have to catch up a bit down here.
And this is less bad than it was previously as well, having these cores out of lane, because we're seeing more and more often nowadays in Dota, teams wanting to get these supports a little bit of farm to get their game started off in the right way. So a little bit of solo experience there for the Chen is absolutely fine.
Yeah, and Seb played a somewhat similar game for himself last time. Like, had to give up a lot of time in that game over to the Lina. And this match, likely not as much. It's going to be pretty important for him to get some items, try and help control this Ursa.
Needs to get into some of those force staffs most likely. As we see the ramifications of that early courier snipe, Yawar forced out of lane completely, which gives Thompson a free pass. He's going to pick up another invis room here as well. And Jerax?
That could not be going a whole lot better for the mid lane right now, honestly. Like, it's already, Lina is this lane dominator. She's meant to try and squish everyone as No-Tail.
Now taking a lot of damage. Rezo slowed, but with one more punch, he's going to secure that kill. Resolution.
Okay. Mid lane being dominated right now by OG, at least in terms of what feels like that big control. Although with the TP back, Yawar feels quite fine in terms of the CS, keeping up very nicely. Of course, we're expecting that to start to change once the spell starts stacking up on the Lina and try and get a couple kills before Storm hits 6. But bottom lane is going in favor of VGJ Storm, no doubt there.
Up top here, you see MSS on this Earth Spirit as they're actually going to punch into Yana, and with the kick, he finds the kill. Snaking did it. Is he going to be able to get out of there in time? He does. He finishes the TP.
Yeah, just not enough left there. Of course, that incredibly long cooldown for Jerax on the first Arctic burn. 50 seconds means you only have that Splinter Blast to work with, so good call the TP. Mid lane, you can see that pressure again. Yawar just marching back.
At bottom lane, Resolution getting a lot of pressure onto him. Snaking realizing that maybe they could take advantage of a little bit of an overextension. They summon the trees, ready to dive. They find the kill. SVG getting away scot-free.
4-0 right now. And with this rotation for the Nature's Prophet, just how much pressure they want to put on this tower.
Looks like they're going to rotate the Veno back in.
Yeah, and then the question is, what does it cost you top? So they'll send Rezo to the top lane with MSS, with a little bit of an edge from that bottom. He wants to stay matched up versus that troll.
Wow, and Snaking really slowed down by the pendants. Big Daddy No-Tail as well as Seb able to find that kill as well.
That's costly.
Oh, and then the send back there on the creep. Can it get out in time? Yeah, he's not going to be able to finish it off. So No-Tail getting full value out of that one.
Double damage.
CD on Storm.
Very fortunate. Bit risky there from UR to go for the rune if he doesn't get it, and then suddenly misses out on some of his golden experience, but secures it away from Thompson.
And you talk about how bad this ends up looking is, well, bottom lane, they do kill off Seb. These lanes are not necessarily going the way that you want. Resolution trying to run out of there as well. They managed to find a bash, chasing forward for more. MSS with the rolling kick. Can they get Rezo out of there? I don't think so. Splinter Blast secures that one, and he's rolled into a problem as well as they are getting the Fairy Fire jump away. Is it enough? They get a double.
Oi, 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 oi. This is what happens when you pick these weaker laners. Like, excellent punish there from OG. They kind of do have two very lane-focused heroes, right? Very traditional in the Chen and the Wyvern to be trying to secure those lanes as hard as possible. Just not the same for someone like Earth Spirit. He's a roamer by trade. And with the way Thompson zoned out with the help of that courier snipe from Jax earlier on, that means Thompson's now level 6, and UR is forced to just full-on jungle.
I mean, he has dreams of a bottle, but my goodness, this is a really rough time for him now. And I mean, again, they have heroes on OG that you can potentially like head into the jungle with a Chen, see what's happening. You know that Storm Spirit needs to recover somewhere.
Yeah. And I think they have some good options with the Storm Spirit too, though. Like, they're trying to abuse the same flaws in the draft as the previous game with the Weaver, but Rez was able to survive so long. Is one disappointing part of that combo is cutting down the trees.
And Snake King, they get the stomp onto two. The punches are there. You can see how much damage these creeps do, and not to mention the right clicks coming from No Tail. Just a bully in this early game.
And now he's coming in ahead of the Chen too. No Tail.
The turnaround. Snake King able to secure himself one of the pickups. They do have a net now, and Seb showing up as well with the Gale. That should be enough to turn it back around. OG just a battling lane down here.
Yeah, Stomp was even still there in case they needed that too. So, nice little tip on a Snake King. Seb trying to get into the head of his opponents, as he usually does.
And Thompson tanking the tower to keep that catapult alive a little bit longer. He's playing with fire. Oh, wow.
Really needed a regen rune on that one, but he's only going to get an illusion.
He's still sticking around, not afraid of anything.
MSS is now smoked up near his shrine, hanging down bottom. Not a whole lot for him to do top, trying to draw some of that attention away from his Ursa. His Rezo is just stuck in the small camp.
And trying to find an opening for themselves. 2,000 gold lead right now for OG. And Resolution, again, just going to be...
They've got the Arctic burn.
They're doing the damage to him, and nowhere left to go. This is the saddest bear in the world as they just run him down. Taking tower shots, almost lit. Oh, he's going to salve up afterwards, too.
Yeah. Some open AI strats coming in here.
Goodness. OG coming out of the gate hot in this one in the upper bracket.
At the very least, they did get that return kill in the bottom lane, though. They cut off the pressure top.
Oh, he needs to be careful here. Still not level 6. 7 minutes in.
Thompson just playing so aggressively. Ensuring he's going to get a kill with that Laguna Blade. The second he uses that, it's going to give a lot more freedom to UR in the lane. But a deep wraparound here from No Tail.
Yeah, and you can see staying outside of that vision, UR, they run into him, going up on the high ground. He's still not level 6. And this Chen does a lot of damage as they go for the stomp. No Tail low as well. Can they kill him off in time? UR gets the heal, the Sunray. Saving the day.
Oh, no, now Thompson, okay, he does get the LSA off.
Oh, the long chase. He wants revenge. UR gets that return kill. So a big turnaround there for OG, or rather for VGJ Storm.
After all that, he's still very far behind in terms of net worth, though. He's about 1,600 gold below his opponent in the mid lane. And this Lena needs that fast start. Gold, I would say, more important on her, trying to get in towards that Yules and Shadow Blade. So she can become a threat across this map, and she's going to be a pretty big answer to the Storm Spirit too, because unlike the Weaver, it's, I would say, a lot easier to handle a Storm Spirit with the Yules into a stun.
A cast point on Ball Lightning sometimes it's just not quick enough to get off if it's time to get it right. But again, 2,000 gold lead at the sub 10-minute mark. If you're right now VGJ Storm, do you just keep on trying to farm wherever you can around the map? Oh, guys, Resolution going to get ran down again. Ana's just bullying this guy.
I worry a lot about Rezo this game. We've seen a couple Ursas fall into this trap of just falling behind in the laning stage. I mean, you lose your tower early. You're supposed to be the bully. You're the bear. But they brought a lot of pressure into this lane. You didn't have a strong support. And so now you fall behind. You still don't even have 6. And so to me, like, they want to play around the Ursa right now to create space for the Storm Spirit, but that Ursa's not ready.
Yeah. Not online with only those phase boots.
That means that they're going to need this massive team fight coming out from the Earth Spirit and the Phoenix. They basically have to hope that OG dive too deep But if OG can go very methodical and calculated when it comes to their tower pushes, they could really grow this lead.
Rezo finding a kill here would definitely be a big boon, and they do manage to take down Jarex.
Oh, this is a very big deal.
MSS level 6, as is SVG trying to TP. He doesn't have the cooldown, though, and he is going to get out.
Good call there. Just recognizing the stuns were all used on Jarex. So Jarex almost had a chance to get off the winner's curse, but in the end, if it means that like throwing his life away to save his troll, still good for OG, but it is just one more kill for VGJ Storm to try and claw their way back into this one as Rezo gets to the 6 and will feel a little bit more secure in his own pushes. Thompson looks to try and find snaking. So we'll be going for an early Orchid.
They scan out the area, see that there are heroes there. It is also, looks like a smoke up that's going to come out from OG. They run
trying to fight these bounty runes.
This is a big fight if they can get it. Winner's Curse. They're all grouped together. The Light Strike Ray follow-up is going to be there. It lands on a 2. They have the Sun as well, but they turn on Yor. They find themselves another kill. No answer at all. MSS throws out a 4-person Magnetize. It's doing a lot of damage, and they might kill off No Tail, but they lost 3 heroes.
Oh, that ulti!
The Regen! Oh, Nature's Prophet. Wrath of Nature, snaking, saving it. Much needed.
Yeah, I would say so. That was very close to being a 3 for nothing, and then suddenly they get 2 return kills. So it will wind up being a slight gold edge for the side of VGJ Storm, and all of that put onto snaking. So it could be a very early Orchid for him. He is up against Alina, who's going to be building that super early Yules anyway. So at least he won't be able to focus down your mid if you're OG too easily. You could see like what they were trying to do for VGJ Storm though, right? Like this whole pick with the Earth Spirit in combination with that Phoenix is MSS is essentially supposed to be the guard for this egg. And he tried to roll in there, get the kicks off, stop the attacks, but it's going to be very difficult against this lineup. You heard the panel talking about how do you get an egg off versus the Troll ulti and now Alina too in the core role where she's going to have such fast attack speed and such great range.
And they're going to pop the ultimate now. Seb just trying to buy a little bit of space for himself. Ana looking for a bash. Will not get it on Snaking. So they'll clean up the trees and then head back about their merry way. But yeah, it does sort of feel like, you know, if you're going to start the fight off where you get stunned by 2 heroes after a Winter's Curse, it's just not going to be a good fight no matter what.
Yeah, and eventually it was Rezo was chasing after Chen, but No Tail's turning it around, just giving them the harass. And Jarek's coming through, they have the curse.
Oh, find it. Resolution caught now. And Thompson laughing about it, feeling quite good for himself. Light Strike Ray and Laguna played.
Well, that just seemed unnecessary. Securing that kill, you never know how many reinforcements could be flying on through.
Can we just talk about the spirit of OG for a minute? Like, every single kill that they get, it doesn't matter who it's on. They're just feeling themselves.
And this started in the qualifiers, too, because I think they came in there with a very big chip on their shoulder. Like, they were better than everyone else. They wanted to prove it. They did. And now at TI, that whole spirit is sort of carried on through them. And Roche, well, he's going to be feeling that hate as well here.
9-12, 2,000 gold lead. Snaking does manage to take down a tower. And this is
look at this. They're standing behind the tower. Like, where are they? Well, they are not there. Looks like the ping might now come out, but they're denying this early Aegis away from an Ursa lineup. Might have been a good way for Rezo to actually get into these fights. And, well, who else is on that team? A Storm Spirit. It's one of the best ways to accelerate that hero, too. Ursa to secure, Storm to use. And that's all just gone now. Wiped away from OG.
Thompson expected there was going to be movement back by Resolution, but no such luck. And this is, I guess, one of the things that you can fall back to on VGJ Storm is the split push coming from that Nature's Prophet.
Yeah.
Snaking need to do a lot. Thompson, chased, stun, a little bit off the mark. Yule Scepter lift up. Shots to Light Strike Ray, able to get out of there. He's got 4 heroes chasing him, and he's just out. And meanwhile, SVG dies. They chase him down by Ana. Ana, a mad troll in the river. The Storm Spirit zip in, looking for anything at all. Does find the kill there. Onto Thompson, not bad. Can they find any more? Seb left alone. The rolling board forward. They do throw out that Winter's Curse, though, and now trying to take down the Storm Spirit. They do find the kill. Ana gets him, and now turning onto another. He's buying his bashes, and MSS also caught and killed triple for Ana.
So close to trying to turn that all in favor of VGJ Storm with that double damage room on the Storm Spirit, but they ran out of spells on MSS. He had nothing left to control them with, and Ana ran wild on that one. 870 gold for him, so much damage. And now they'll push on forward. As you pointed out at the very beginning of the fight, they find SVG. Ana taking him down before the egg could even pop because SVG knew there was no opportunity for it.
And feeling eerily similar to last game in some ways. I mean, except on the other side now.
Yeah.
OG, 5,000 gold lead.
The question is, as we'll see the replay here, SVG, he swoops in early. Like, it looks like it's just a gank, right? You're catching this Lina out of position, but suddenly the reinforcements arrive. From the north comes Ana. He instantly cleans up a Phoenix who has no dive to escape and get off a good egg, and then it's just the rundown. They do get a nice kill on Thompson, though. So he was pretty far away, but they catch a couple spells onto him, the Nature's Prophet ulti.
Oh, and MSS with that angle on the kick. Very nice as well. But yeah, at the end of the day, they do need to have an answer for that Ana.
Yeah, Winter Wyvern paying off again in this match.
Now, so maybe that's going to be one of the openings for VGJ Storm to take these fights.
And it is one of the struggles with the Nature's Prophet as well, as he's just not a hero that really team fights at all. He, for the most part, during a team fight, he'd like to be on the other side of the map, just pushing a tower. So it's going to be very important with the initiations that are coming up from Snake King with his Orchid and then the Shadow Blade trying to secure himself. But now he's fought and found by Thompson.
And the Light Strike Array follow-up. They have dependence as well. Just Laguna Blade. Rezo wants to find something in return. This is just a Chen, though, and they will manage to get that kill.
They're almost able to hold him back there, but Blink Dagger now helping to secure something for Rezo and build himself up.
They're starting to catch up in terms of these kills, but the sort of macro sense of the game hasn't really shifted all that much. You've still got these 3 cores from OG that are in the lead and kind of starting to shut down the map, it feels like, a little bit, trying to take down this bottom tier 1 tower now.
Yeah, you can see they're focusing this a lot earlier than VGJ Storm did in the previous match. They just feel very confident about their team fight at the moment, and they have a better sieging engine in this game with the Lina. She can stay very far back. She has a troll in front of her, and Jarek's playing off to the side. They don't have the most burst. Like, it requires a lot of focus from the side of VGJ Storm. They basically need the Ursa and, like, a silence to actually kill this Wyvern before the Basher.
And look at MSS right now. He doesn't know that there's a ward in the area and almost gets punished for it. A little bit off the mark there, Thompson, with the Light Strike Array, but this does secure the tier 2 tower.
Well, at least the chat wheel, they also used to flame themselves, right? Also missed that one, so good-hearted stuff coming around. But what a quick demolition of that lane.
And the presence of mind to have that ward up there as well before they even started for the push. And this thing has only got 4 minutes left on it.
Yeah, and this is the Radiant team. You have Seb that entire time sitting in that little triangle of camps we always talk about on this Venomancer. Not only is he denying one of the entrances for VGJ Storm for a possible counterplay, but he's getting pretty fat. He's caught up with his Lina at this point. And that Force Staff to help control the Ursa, who's already struggling so much. It feels like OG are itemizing very well for that next big fight around the Roche Pit.
Resolution again, forced to TP. His jungle was being invaded. So VGJ Storm now again.
This vision, easy catch on MSS.
In trouble, they jump forward for this kill though, and with the Electric Vortex as well as the Remnant pop afterwards, Thompson is going to die. VGJ Storm picking up a much needed kill.
Yeah, good use of the high mobility on a Storm Spirit and Nature's Prophet, so definitely worth it for the side of VGJ Storm.
And Storm Spirit actually has an Aghanim Scepter queued up, interestingly enough.
He's going to find some sort of a play in this game. He doesn't, maybe need the Orchid as much because his Nature's Prophet has one. Might be a bit redundant in that case. But he's basically hoping to, I guess, set up for the massive team fight plays. It's going to be an Earth Spirit as well as a Storm Spirit then, helping to control up this egg, perhaps give you a chance for it. But it is still a pretty long cooldown to be playing your game around.
And there's the Seb TP away. They had Electric Vortex, but couldn't quite get the vision in time, and also the mana to get close enough. 90 GPM talent picked up for Phoenix. And now the push comes from OG. MSS still there.
The output and outspam in terms of OG has just looked great this game, right? Like, you start off with a Nature's Prophet very early in your draft, and OG identified that they're going to have some answers for wave push. And so the Winter Wyvern, just the Chen roaming around with his creeps, Ana rotating back and forth, and Seb is one of the best heroes in the game, the Venomancer. Like, you just don't want to commit on this guy, because if any rotations come, you could just be so low on HP even if you kill him.
Almost going down there, but is going to live in the fountain, it looks like.
Yeah, it has the wand if he really needs it, so it should be fine.
Well, they take the tier 2 tower top, and easy as pie, just going tower to tower to tower. OG making full use of that Aegis, and now getting ready for it to respawn again.
They've only gotten a single tier 1 tower so far, taken off that OG side of the map. So just great defense against the Nature Prophet. He doesn't really have another partner in crime either in terms of wave push.
I mean, every time you just walk up, gale them, and they're forced to TP away. That's 3 separate heroes that this has happened to.
Oh, they're smoking up behind, though. They want to grab a kill here. These heroes, they are pretty fat, so it's a lot of a bounty now for this Veno.
Nature's Prophet shows up as well. They try and get out of there. The Force Staff away. They do kill off Jarex on that Winter Wyvern. Meanwhile,
they can't even fight him.
They actually can't get him. MSS is just going to die. The Gale and the Plague Wards, it just drops down and they kill him. Chase forward, though, here in the mid lane, trying to take down Thompson. He gets to the Shadow Amir play, is walking away.
Back down bottom. They're after snaking here, and will find him in the tree line to help the vision from the Plague Wards. Unstoppable for Anna now.
I mean, that's the hero that you want to kill if you're at all possible to on VGJ Storm. He doesn't have his BKB yet, but it's so difficult. All these force staffs and heal mechanisms that you've got on OG. Maybe that Basher being delivered for Resolution is the ace in the hole they need.
Some decent recovery for them. But he's still not ahead, and of course Ursa would love to be there. But we've seen the utilization of the support Ursas a little bit poorer as first force out just onto the Phoenix.
And with that kick, that'll push back the rest of VGJ Storm. They're still in the area, looking for the chase. They've got Ana. This is a big kill if they can get it. They might have Hand of God still to try and keep them alive. The runaway, the stun on the two. MSS doing a good job, but they blow up the troll. Much needed kill, and now looking for more. They take down the Winter Wyvern as well. VGJ Storm, a little bit of a tear here.
Yeah, OG have to be a little bit careful. We already talked about that super high mobility and bit of almost global presence now coming up from the Nature's Prophet and the Storm Spirit. So if they see a moment like that where you're going to waste your curse, especially so close to a TP point, you've got to be ready for the punishment. And VGJ Storm, it's a bit risky, right, to just kind of dive in like that because they didn't have the greatest vision. But they had some stuff on the high ground. They kind of knew what was going around from OG and got a great dive off. Now, blinking in with the dust, they're going to find Thompson.
This is a huge kill as well. All of the cores dying right now for for OG. One after the other.
Zipping for more as Yawar in the mid.
A little bit of life being shown here after OG dominance through the first 20 minutes.
That was about a 3K gold swing with those kills under the Troll and the Lina. And a lot of that going back onto Reza. What a great time to have that Basher.
Well, VGJ Storm.
Radiant are scanning.
Pretty decent vision around here.
Yeah, they're going to lose that ward now for sure, but it doesn't really matter. It's almost expired anyway.
Sad. It's just going to be a TP away. Yeah, he's done.
It's a pretty good solution.
So where do you go now? Roche is about to respawn.
Yeah, that's the big thing for sure.
Okay.
So we're looking at the Egg. We're looking at Winter's Curse. We're looking at Earth Spirit. We're looking at Storm Spirit. There's so much vision coming up from the Radiant side with the help of that Venomancer that if they can entrench themselves in this position, even with these great heroes around the Roche pit, I feel like OG have the edge here. They're actually just going to be in here so early that it might not even matter.
Yeah, not in position.
They're smoking. They're trying to get here.
Asleep at the wheel, and they're walking forward to conclude this and take down Roche. There wasn't even a battle.
Seb once again out front saying, fight me.
And the chase forward for more. Ana gets force-staff forward. The good kick from MSS, trying to stay alive. Still 5 seconds, still rolling boulders up, and he's just dead.
Yeah, they're down in the bottom lane now, pushing. There's a Shadow Amulet here on Snaking.
But look at Thompson. He's just chasing forward. He gets the lift up onto the SVG Phoenix, trying to chase and interrupt. This is the Storm Sphere, but it's not happening. On the other side, they do take down No Tail.
But they're on your base.
And where are you guys at? And it looks like with that fortification, it's at least going to stop them for a moment, but Troll Warlord in the area. They throw out the Light Strike a little bit off the mark. Hitting this tier 3 tower, nobody wants to buy back, but they're going to lose this.
I love the way Seb is just this buffer, too. So if they start getting low on Ana like this, Seb's just always going to stay in front. You can see he helps them retreat by staying a little bit closer throughout all of that.
Radiant's top tower has fallen.
Snaking. So often been that combo breaker in there with the Orchid. They're looking towards the top side of the map where Troll Warlord is alone.
Under attack.
No, they're going to back out.
Big creep wave down bottom, though.
Yeah, they need to deal with this pressure.
Okay, so this is a pretty big win for VGJ Storm, though. Just getting rid of these towers on that bottom lane, taking down the tier 1 at the top. A lot more room right now for Snaking to breathe. And though, OG are feeling good right now. They're getting this Aegis. But they always have to be careful with the split push from the Nature's Prophet as they start hunting through the trees. There's no LSA ready after this Yules.
You got to be careful. Thompson's there. They have the catch, and that's going to be another one dead. One after the other, they're falling. Ana, kind of in no man's lane, does have the BKB, going to try and play around with it, but Yawar just able to back out and get out of there. They're trying to bash him down. The super silence down as well. They turn onto it immediately. There's the trees now. They block it down. Ana doesn't have a way to hit it. MSS gets the TP away. OG have lost 2 already. Winter's Curse, that's Nature's Prophet starting to tear through this guy as well. And another kill. Yawar goes down. That would have been huge if he could have gotten out.
They finally found a good way to use that egg using the sprout. It's so difficult in this game. They have so many ways to try and cover it.
Oh, and he runs into a regen rune. Ana did not have to burn through that Aegis. Resolution, maybe thinking that he's going to see him. No, they can't.
Ana hoping to catch someone farming alone here, expecting that the rest of his team is back across the other side of the river. But he'll now make his presence known on the wave.
Again, this Troll Warlord hoping to be the instrument to carry in this game. Seeing the strength of that Sprout.
Oh yeah, here's on the replay. So it's interesting, right? Because when you pop the egg, it kills all the trees.
Right.
But then after, you can plant a couple, and they enjoy the sun, I guess. I don't know if they're palm trees or something like that, but yeah, just completely chaotic fight. Didn't even matter too much there.
I mean, and again, you see there's maybe a moment where he could have gone on UR, but then the Supernova's there as well. Things get really scary. And the Winter's Curse, of course, to sort of save that fight by Jerax.
I think it's just the way it started.
He's feeling good about himself.
And the way it started was the major problem, honestly. Just like the fact that you're using up this Ursa with no LSA, and so no one's getting instant comboed down by Thompson, but he's the one getting comboed down right now with the silence.
Over and over again, he keeps on getting found, and Resolution there to try and
It's the
clean it up.
cheese.
He used the cheese, but will not escape.
Yeah, that was a very low percentage play there. And the rest of his team, they were nearby, so I can understand why I felt pressured to do it, but they are starting to bleed a lot of their net worth away now. The kills favoring VGJ Storm. The gold just might get there as well. It's only a 3K lead for OG.
Again, you sort of are seeing some of the problems. You have this very strong team fight lineup coming out from VGJ Storm, and now so many different threats, right? Like you've got the Earth Spirit, there's the egg that you have to keep of in the back of your mind, and then also this Storm Spirit Aghanim Scepter, a little bit of an unconventional build, but it's strong.
They also, it's just that they're being picked off constantly. Like, there hasn't been a big team fight. If it was a straight-up 5v5, they have so many great ways to deal with this egg that you imagine the fight's going to go well for OG, but the past engagements have just been starting off of instant pickoffs on one of these heroes, mostly Thompson. And he's struggling again to any sort of a defensive option, and it does come back to one of these weaknesses of the Lina, where she just needs the Yules, she feels like she needs the Shadow Blade, and then the BKB comes so late.
8 deaths so far in this game for Thompson. And definitely the snowball that started from OG has slowed down to a halt. Now VGJ Storm trying to turn it the other direction. With this setup, you know, it's such a strong combination. You war zips on top of somebody, Nature's Prophet there, there's the Orchid follow-up. And OG need to play together. Seb alone in this bottom lane, going to run into a lot of heroes. You don't want to commit so many onto the Benno, but if you can't get any abilities up, it might be enough. The Winter's Curse, though, to turn it back around. Great play. They're all caught in it. The Light Circle Ray on the 4. There's no feasible coming from the Benno. They get the sun off, but it's not going to last. They turn on to Rezo, get the bash, find the kill. MSS also in trouble as all of VGJ Storm fall.
This is what happens when the pickoff is not on the Lina. Seb, the perfect bait in lane. His team encroaching upon that area, smoked up, ready to battle, and they catch VGJ Storm completely off guard. Big swing heading back their way.
What a play. And again, it's all this Venomancer. If you go on this guy, obviously the Hand of God coming in to save at the last second, and then the Winter Wyvern being there. Yeah, it's that get-out-of-jail-free card they needed.
This is part of what happens, too, when you pick these split-pushing supports. Where, like, Jerax has gotten so much farm this game because he has to deal with the Nature's Prophet, and he has the Blink Dagger to help save that fight.
OG now hitting onto the barracks. Already one tier 3 tower claimed in the mid lane, and now looking for the first melee as this fortification wears off. VGJ Storm are going to be back up now, and Ana still feeling confident to stick around. Oh, he's getting sent back, it looks like, and will get out of there as he finishes the barracks.
VGJ Storm confident enough to let one Rax fall, not going to use their buybacks. Scared of potentially losing the whole game based off of that. Sneaking will sneak himself a haste rune under the nose of Jerax. But very difficult to go for a kill. It's not any detection versus that Glimmer.
Back to an 8,000 gold lead. And how do you feel like this, Oz? We're just going to see this setup again.
Yeah, and on the mini-map there, you can see OG. They're running and gunning, trying to get him as fast as they can, but that Blink Dagger from Jerax. Huge save, combination with the Glimmer Cape, the Hand of God, so many heals coming out onto Seb, and then a 4-man LSA. Thompson gets his revenge after all of these pickoffs.
It's just so hard to fight into that lineup when they're all grouped together like that. And, of course, you know, the Phoenix coming in for the heals, but then he gets taunted as well. Tough stuff for VGJ Storm.
Oh, back at it once again here. The roll away.
No, taunt. He caught the Earth Spirit as he rolled through. They're all together. He's taunted as well. It's a great combo, but is it good enough? I don't know. The sun's down. The great stun. Can they blow this up? They do kill the egg. Resolution also controlled, but the combo bash, the turnaround. Ana trying to take down this Ursa. He is going to get him.
Oh, at this point, that egg. The BKB is there from the troll. What hope do you have? It's so free, even with the fire spirits trying to help. And Snaking can do nothing but dodge.
And can you feel it? OG, they have buybacks on this Ursa, but they're trying to potentially close out a second lane of barracks on their way to the highest placement that this international organization has ever had. The two-man electric vortex. They go for the hand of God, though, and this is through backdoor protection. Troll does a lot of damage. Please get those fervor stacks up.
Yeah, Snaking is trying. He's catching these waves. He's done all he really could.
There's no answer. It's too much damage. Now one lane separating.
Even going for the bounty rune, Snaking can't win. Seb is already there, understanding the importance of those to keep your team ahead.
He has all the lockdown in the world. The Orchid, the Hex. It's a lot of good answers. They're going to have to send back after the Arctic Burn. And OG.
Their battle cries sounding throughout Rogers Arena. Always with the beautiful chat wheels.
Now
step forward. They want another one of these picks, but cannot find him.
No luck, as you are out of mana now. And Ana, seeing that the Storm Spirit isn't really a threat, is willing to run into anybody at all. MSS just going to have to throw out the kick to get out of there.
Now we wait for the big man to spawn in the pit. 20 seconds away. Feels like the last big hurrah for VGJ Storm. If they can somehow find a way to utilize this egg and calm up some of the damage, get these supports going, but they're all just, it's all magic. It's BKB. It's finally going to be ready here for Thompson. It's already been doing so much work for Ana.
Oh, and look, they were ready for this. They get the Hex, though. The great answer. They tried to bait one, but they got baited instead, and they find a kill. On to two. That's Troll and Lena dead, but they're going to buy back now. Good blink away there.
Yeah, they know they have to control up this pit, so still holding their biggest spells on the rating side right now. Not a major concern. And they're going to start placing down these wards and controlling the area.
Now Roche is down, and they don't have Supernova.
Seb has to be a bit cautious here. I could definitely see him just getting instantly killed by Ursa. He's a little bit far away from the team. Of course, they don't know the blink's already been used by Jerax, so they secure with the dust. Refresher shared, now picked up as well here.
Oh, and they got it on Lena, too.
Yeah, Snaking, yeah, excellent play there, getting inside there with that scythe, and he's going to need that again. He is the answer to this BKB if they can actually catch the troll in time.
It's such a hard fight that they might have to take now because they know that there's still Supernova down for 65 seconds, and OG can kind of just walk at their buildings. How do you stop this pressure? With 4 catapults running at you.
I mean, they did it last time without creep, so I don't think there's a very easy answer. Spread the siege wagons around.
Snaking coming from behind. They want to make a play here. They've got the big electric vortex. If they can find the initiation, the Hex is there. They're trying to focus Thompson, but the Yule Scepter lift up. He's still living. They have the light strike ready to follow that one if they want, but he's able to get away, jump over to the side and try and take down No Tail, but he's living. Oh, No Tail still living through that. 2 are dead. Storm Spirit's forced to buy back. Resolution is not going anywhere. The slowest, saddest bear that you've ever seen in your life. They do eventually take down No Tail, but eyes on the prize. Ana taking down these barracks. Yawar jumps forward, a 2-man electric vortex. They get the slowdown with the attack speed and the light strike ready to try and secure their retreat. Are they getting out? Aegis at least will be claimed.
There's still a BKB when he comes up, though.
And Snaking turned around upon. This could potentially be it if they can take down MSS as well. There's the bash. 3 dead. They force the buyback again. They're mega creep. They get the counter bash. Double kill for Ana. And over, the OG steamroller is continuing.
VGJ Storm tried a pretty risky attempt there. Snaking going the back line, trying to disrupt, maybe opening up something for Rezo to jump on. Yawar as well with the Storm Spirit, but couldn't find that big pick on the front line. They were able to hold very, very well in the back. Yules and everything just to secure themselves away from that silence. And OG securing themselves the Megas. VGJ Storm fighting for their life in this upper bracket.
33 minutes, 18,000, 4 buybacks used. Right now, the only one left is going to be that Phoenix. And it just goes to show the understanding of the strengths of the draft of OG. They have these low cooldown abilities, can constantly get into the fray. Double Winter's Curse.
Yeah.
17 seconds.
And they still have that cheese available on Lena, too, even after Thompson went down. So you can see in the backline, that's where Snaking is. He's trying to make something happen, trying to create some space for them. But, I mean, they focused down onto the Chen, not the hero they wanted. They can't get the troll. And at this point, it's just a rundown back to the base.
So much damage that comes out, and they're just that far ahead as well.
That objective gaming, Anna.
I'd love to see it. And so many buybacks forced out as well. It feels like every subsequent fight is going to be that much more difficult. And that face says it all.
Oh, they're back in, looking to finish this one off.
Mega Creeps online for OG as they find themselves the lift up onto Snaking. He throws out the Hex, trying to get away from impending danger, but Ana runs in, finds the bash, and gets the kill in the NP. No buyback, 70 seconds.
Yeah, he's trying to just grab these waves and do something, but it's still coming in the mid lane. He can't do it all on his own anymore with the Megas. Seb continues this constant pressure, putting in these flag wars, making it very difficult for Rezo to maneuver, even if he gets into these fights.
And the wraparound coming. They're hoping to find something at all. Maybe a team fight win if they can jump forward and find the Abyssal off the Winter's Curse, but it's not going to happen. They have to roll forward onto 2. It's not bad, but off on the side, Thompson with the BKB out, punching people down. They find 2 kills. That's GG. OG on in the upper bracket.
No tell. You can see ecstatic with this victory, moving into the top 6 for OG. Unbelievable performance from a team that feels like they just formed.
And it feels like they've been continuing to build momentum. I mean, you talk about their performance leading up to this. I believe it was them that played against Immortals in a best of 5 earlier and ended up losing that one. But, you know, showing up here on the main stage and taking down VGJ Storm, that's looked like one of the best teams in the tournament.
Yeah, and OG have been a team that feels like they're playing a bit of their own brand of Dota, too. They have some unique hero picks, like this Troll Warlord that isn't very common. They love to abuse some of these other picks, like the Arc Warden, the Morphling, or that... I mean, who's getting Monkey King banned against them right now, you know? These guys have so many threats that are useful in this drafting stage that they're a difficult team to play up against in this upper bracket. And, well, speaking of brackets, I think a lot of them just might have got shattered right about now.
My goodness. Great respect shown, obviously, amongst the players. And, well, what's the limit for this team? What's going to stop them? It feels like they've been able to run kind of over everything in the last couple of days, particularly in the group stages, looking very strong. And a little bit of admiration from the crowd.
I think they're playing a bit fearless right now. You know, not the highest expectations coming in. What really could you hope for? You know, they're a relatively new team. And we'll see how much further they can go.
Back now to the panel for their thoughts on that match after a 2-0 OG over VGJ Storm.
Indeed, 2-0 in favor of OG. They will move on to a top 6 spot here at the International 2018. VGJ Storm now has to go down to the lower bracket to move on forward. We're here at the panel with Capitalist, Black, and Gods. Well, we're going to wrap up that match a little bit, especially that game 2. Obviously quite dynamic, going back and forth, a lot of action. Cap, what are your thoughts?
My thoughts are that I think the commentators did a good job in touching it, is that OG has their own kind of brand of Dota that they're playing right now, and I think they've got this concept in their drafting. Both games had the Wyvern and the Lina, and it seems like they found something there. I'm not entirely sure what it is. Maybe you two can elaborate on it, but it feels like it's something special to OG.
I would say, particularly with the Lina, it's this flex pick because they can run it as a core as well as support. So having this opening hero that, you know, you can move around, keeps your opponents guessing where it's going to go, can cause problems. Wyvern just seems pretty strong for them. I don't know, it just suits their playstyle.
What about the Chen, though? They've been first picking Chen both games, but I feel like he didn't, like, I'm not saying he played bad. I'm just saying the hero didn't have, like, a huge impact.
Was it the key to their victory, perhaps?
Yeah, so, like, I'm not entirely sure what that's about. But they definitely figured something out that we haven't. So
I think it feels like this combination of like being able to have like the big team fight, right? We saw Silencer rise to prominence here very early on in the group stage, and I think one of the big examples is that his team fight power is so big. Wyvern also providing that sort of BKB piercing disable, as well as being able to get this kind of AoE control that sets up the Lina. It just feels really powerful right now. And then on top of that, just the flexibility of both those picks, right? It seems really cool that OG had figured this out.
Yeah, we've seen, especially in that last game, the Wyvern making some big plays to be able to turn those fights around. On the flip side, I mean, Storm looked great during the group stage, obviously securing their spot in the upper bracket quite early on, but weren't able to really show up in this match. We'll get to hear from them in a bit, but first we're going to hear from the winners. It's Casey with No Tail.
No Tail, congratulations.
Thank you very much.
You walked into this room with an obvious set of emotions. Can you just kind of walk your fans through what you're feeling right now?
I mean, it's a very big relief, first of all. Like, this is the first time we play on stage with this roster, and for some of them, or for Topias, it's the first time he also plays on stage. So it was a relief that we did so well. I'm extremely happy.
What do you owe the momentum that you guys have had kind of towards the end of group stage, doing so well, and then coming in and just winning the first two at bat?
Hard work and an open mind, I think, definitely helped us towards the later half of this tournament. We learned a lot about ourselves as the tournament started a bit rough for us, but we picked ourselves up and really looked hard in the mirror. And yeah, now it feels like things are clicking good.
Fans always have really high expectations of OG, and in past years you've come in as the favorites, and it's been a little bit difficult at times. Now you're coming in, your fans are still with you, but I mean, now you're really nailing it. So how does it feel coming in not as
the favorites or one of the favorites?
Yeah, I mean, I hesitate to say that because people still love you, but coming in not as the favorites in the same way you have in previous years.
I love being the underdog. Being the underdog is the best thing. Yes, I think most teams and most players actually prefer to be the underdog. There are many reasons to why, but the biggest one is obviously teams don't look at you as much. Second biggest reason is you play with way less pressure. This thing of also winning the group stage, or having hype around you, like you have to choose your opponent, and then it's like, what if you lose? Like you're supposed to win, so you have everything to lose, nothing to win. Whereas the underdog, it's everything to win, nothing to lose.
Is it easier to settle in and play your game when there's less pressure? The mentality, is that the biggest impact?
This game is a huge mentality game, and every time at LAN tournaments, especially the big ones, the mentality plays a bigger and bigger role. So yeah, it's a massive thing. But it's still about just being able to play Dota. So sometimes you have both teams playing without pressure, playing their best, and yeah, I mean, props to VGJ today. Like they were a very, very good team. I think we only managed to do well because of this preparation we had and some of the momentum, but. I have a feeling that maybe they were playing with a little more pressure than we were, but they were super good today. Smile on my face is for beating somebody that good.
Yeah, it was nice to see you guys at the end of the match come over and shake each other's hands, and you can just see the level of respect, the mutual respect there.
Yeah, this tournament is full with so many good teams this year. As somebody that likes watching Dota, I'm in awe whenever I watch, see what teams are doing right now.
Well, speaking of that, next up is going to be either EG or Secret. I gotta bet you have some feelings on that.
No feelings. May the best team win.
Well said. Thank you, Notel. Appreciate it.
Of course.
Back to you guys.
Thank you very much, Casey, and thank you to No Tail for taking the time to talk to us about that win. And like No Tail said, obviously, going up against VGJ Storm, perhaps they had a little bit more pressure coming into this match given their group stage performance, high expectations with how they were playing last week. Do you agree that that might have played a role in perhaps how they were viewing this matchup against OG?
Oh, absolutely. I think that any of the teams that go through their groups and just end up getting a lot of wins and are handed very few losses, I don't think that you're going to learn as much from your group stage. And so there's also a target on you. I think that everybody wants to know your secret to success. So I think that combination of things, that not being able to learn as much, and then also everybody else being able to learn from your style of Dota, means that you are, I think, almost put at a bit of a disadvantage to the teams that are willing to put in that kind of hard work and go over the replays and really find a strategy like it seems OG did.
All right. Well, we do have a chance to hear from VGJ Storm as well. It's Machine with SVG.
Yes, indeed. Two sides to every coin. And I think I just want to kind of dive inside your mind and ask you, what happened?
I mean, some days are your day, some days are not your day. I don't think we played particularly well this day. I think sometimes it's as simple as that. Sure. I do think OG has some stylistic things that actually match up well against us. Yeah. So they're by no means one of the easier teams for us to play against. But, you know, we'll be back in the lower bracket. Tournament's not over, so...
And I'm sure you and your coaching team have looked over OG and their style. The analysts are really intrigued by it. Have you got any insights as to what they're doing different? They're not obeying the meta?
I don't know if I'd say that. I think they just found a style that works really well for their players, and they play to those strengths. And there's not a lot holding the team back. Like, this team is not a team with expectations from the community. Like, as a qualifier team, it's the same for us. Like, you go in, there's little pressure, so they can just play their game, and it worked for them today.
Down to the lowers, what's next for you guys? What happens now? What's the rest of your day look like?